Welcome back to my channel. This is Maui Wise Movement, and my name is Sarah, your friendly personal trainer. I would like to go over with you how I start a typical basic yoga class. I always start in a seated position. It's easier to sit on the ground if you have any knee or hip issues by sitting on a bolster or a few pillows if you don't have a hard bolster. Make sure it's firm enough so you aren't sinking through. Just cross at the ankles. Don't worry so much about crossing above like so into like a half Padmasana or something. Crisscrossing at the ankles enough. And you can see that my knees are a lot lower than my hips. This gives a chance for your hip flexors to kind of just like open up a little bit and for you to have a nice long spine. I always spend a moment and really just connect to your breath. An easy breath is just a 4-count breath in, a 4-count breath hold, and a 4-count breath out, and a 4-count breath hold. That is a square breath, and it just kind of calms down the nervous system a little bit. So let's just take 2 rounds of this breath. So close your eyes when you're ready and sit up nice and tall through your spine. Take a second and just take an inhale through the nose and then a big long exhale out the mouth. We'll do that one more time just to cleanse it out for a moment. Inhale through the nose and big long exhale out the mouth. Then I'm going to go ahead and count for you. Here we go. Inhaling through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. And release, breathing normal. See if that all of a sudden has calmed down your nervous system and allowed you to get connected back to your breath. Let's take an inhale and start blinking open those eyes and reach up to the sky. Look in between your hands and bring your palms together. Exhale through heart center first. Let's try that again. Inhale, look up to get extension through the neck. Reach the shoulders up and away. And then exhale through heart center. We're going to take a little twist. Inhaling up and twist to the right. Hand on the thigh here and hand behind. Don't worry about bending over. Just reaching towards the ground. You could also keep a hand on the hip if that doesn't feel great, or also to increase the stretch, reach behind and allow yourself to start looking over that back shoulder. Inhale, get tall, and exhale, see if you can twist your body a little bit more. And slowly back through center. Other side. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Hand on the hip or the back is fine, or reaching back. Exhale, use your body to twist. Maybe looking over that back shoulder. Last breath, inhale and exhale. And coming back through center. Taking some flexion and extension in the spine. Think about curling the spine under, chin to chest. And then inhale, bringing that chin up towards the sky. Exhale, curling, tucking the tailbone under. And inhale, chest comes forward, chin up, find some extension. Last one, exhale and curl. And inhale and reach. Back through center. Taking some side bends. Over to this side first. Hand places down on a block or the floor. Think about reaching up and then over. Take a breath. Inhale. And then we're going to move on the exhale up and back over to the other side. Hand can ground or hand on a block. Think up and then over. Take a breath in and exhaling back through center. Now I'm going to come down all the way to the ground. So come yourself off of the bolster, or maybe you were sitting on blocks. And I like to remind everybody to roll down nice and slow. This just kind of gets the abdominals to wake up a little bit and get people to kind of wake up their core. Go ahead and bend the knees and bring the feet to the ground. We're going to practice some pelvic tilts. Go ahead and widen the feet so that you have a little more space in the groin. Exhale and curl the spine. And inhale and allow yourself to have a nice little arch. We're not lifting the hips off of the floor quite yet. Think instead of the belly button. Inhale and the belly button rises. And exhale and the belly button curls in. This isolation of the lower hips is so good for the sacrum, and if you have any lower back pain. Take one more. We're exhaling, bringing the belly in, and inhale, bringing the belly up. And now I want you to find a neutral spine so the whole back is on the ground. Let's practice a couple of bridges. Walk the feet back into neutral. Hips in line with the knees is neutral. My ankle, knee, and hip are making a nice straight line. With your hands on the ground by your sides, you may be able to almost touch your heels, but please do what feels good in your knees. If being in flexion all the way does not feel great, give yourself a little bit of space. But usually with the heels closer to the fingertips, we're going to bring the bridge slightly more towards the glutes rather than the hamstrings. With the feet far away and then we push up, I tend to have people have a hamstring cramp as soon as they push up. So keeping the heels a little bit closer might not get one of those hamstring cramps. Try to have them find a flat back. Inhale through the belly and exhale, we'll push on up. Think about hands are pushing as much as my feet, and that will get people to use their shoulders into the ground as much as they're pushing their hips high, so that it is a whole body exercise rather than just a glute exercise. Keep them here for about 3 breaths, and then tell them perhaps to scoop the pelvis up and towards the sky, turning that tailbone up to the sky or towards the ceiling. Gets your glutes to turn on a little bit more. The last thing I cue is perhaps their chest towards the chin, not chin to the chest. If I say chest towards the chin, all of a sudden they get a way more of a lift through their back. We are trying to find some stability, but also we're trying to help them find a little bit of an extension. And slowly lowering all the way down. I always cue the knees into the chest after this one if that feels good for people, or windshield wipers. Feet as wide as the mat, arms up over the head, and let them move at their own pace. After we have gotten their glutes and their posterior chain turned on a little bit, I always like to get their hamstrings a little bit ready for forward folds, for downward facing dogs. So get them to pull their knee into the chest and let their other leg go long. As they're breathing here, they're trying to get their thigh and their belly closer and closer together. And then we're switching, hand on top of the knee or hand on top of the shin. Inhale and exhale, aiming for my knee towards my shoulder or armpit area. And relaxing, letting their legs shake. Now that we have found some compression, and now we can find a little bit more length through the hamstrings. Then I ask them to hold on to the back of their hamstring, and they can keep the leg bent or keep the bottom leg straight. If they are having trouble keeping this leg straight, I give the option of say, hey, go ahead and bend this knee. That way it keeps those hips in a little bit more of a flatter position, and they might be able to straighten or at least find a little bit of more movement through this top leg. Give them the option of just to take a little bit of flossing here. This gets the calf and the ankle ready. Flex and point, flex and point. Take some circles, right and left, and open the toes and squeeze the toes. I'm always giving options to move toes and feet in my classes. That way we get more awareness to our feet, which is always good. Drop the head back down to the floor and let them switch legs. Again, we're holding onto the back of the hamstring. Option to keep the bottom leg bent or straight. Working on straightening this knee, we're going to flex and point, and take some circles. Open and close the toes. And then find one, either pointing or flexing, but we do want a little bit of action in the feet. Don't let it rolling down, keeping the knee in close for one final little squeeze. Letting both legs go long. Go ahead and roll either to the side and let them come up with an option, or go ahead and find a roll. Rolls are so nice on the spine, and it's a little bit of a fun thing to do for most clients. They forget that yoga can be fun. Now we're going to go ahead and come into a tabletop. Option for them to have more cushion underneath their knees. Perhaps they need a little more cushion. I would have a bigger towel for most people, or a blanket. Wrists under elbows, elbows under shoulders. Now we're going to help them figure out how to isolate their spine again. Starting from the lower half, I'm going to turn towards you so you can watch me. We just want to get them to see if they can isolate the lower half of their body. Exhale and tuck the tailbone. And inhale, let the tailbone up to the sky. Most people just go right into cat-cows from here, and I think that is the lazy way to do yoga. Most people know how to flex and extend, but they do not know how to isolate and use the spine the way that it needs to be used. Healthy mobility in the spine. Now we're going to move the top half. Watch how my elbows stay straight. My lower half is not moving at all. I'm pulling the belly button towards the spine and keeping it neutral. Exhale, shoulder blades come together. And inhale, pushing away. You'll notice that some people have a very difficult time keeping their elbows straight for this drill. That is weakness in the shoulder joint. And this drill will really help them get more awareness of being able to use those shoulder blades to be able to float on our ribs. Now we can put it all together in what I call isolated cat-cows. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, then the belly, then the chest. Last thing, chin to the chest. Then my tailbone, then my belly drops, chest forward, and chin forward. Again, exhale, tailbone, belly, chest, chin. Inhale, tailbone, belly, chest, chin. Take a few of those on your own. You might be able to feel a nice roll, like a wave. Allow the wave to roll from the tailbone and roll it up all the way to the head. And we're going to practice our lunge. Starting with a low lunge is easiest for most people to understand where their legs and their hips need to be. As soon as we stand up, people tend to have a hard time with balance. So get them on the ground and feel grounded first. First, line the knee up with the ankle, making a nice 90 degrees. Now we're going to scoop that tailbone under and let the pelvis come forward. As soon as you do this, you should feel a little stretch coming on this hip flexor on this side. Hand on the hip, and let's think, inhale, get tall. Find that length and let that shoulder just raise up. I'm also squeezing this glute, this left glute that's on this side, to keep that tailbone pulled under and to keep that hip flexor nice and long. My right hand will go here on the hip, and then I want to inhale, get tall, and then find that lean, just like we did earlier with our warm-up on the seated. I like to exhale and kind of take a little half of a cactus or a little lat kind of pull down, and then inhale and reach. Exhale and inhale. Last one, exhale and back. Now we're going to see if we can help people find Anjayasana, which is a low lunge. We have to walk the foot out enough so that when my hips drop forward, I get in that nice long lunge feeling of my left hip flexor lengthening out the back. It's okay if the top of your foot is down, and some people like to have the foot in flexion. That doesn't matter so much. More so, we want to find this forward motion with these hips. Anjayasana has arms extended, lifting the chest, and allow that chin to push up to the sky. Taking 3 breaths, 2, and 1. Back into half of a Hanuman. I generally do not let them flex their toes because people tend to hyperextend this knee and not be able to get down any lower from here. Instead, allow the toes to drop down and have a soft knee. Soft knee. Doesn't have to be locked out, and I don't want it to be all the way bent. But it's soft. It's not locked out. That way, I could find a little bit of a lean forward from the hips for a half Hanuman. More flexible, hands to blocks or hands to the ground. Take an inhale. I'm thinking chin and chest forward, and exhale. Allow people to come back up and push your hips forward again for Anjayasana. I usually run at least 3 of these forward and back, nice and slow. Bring this foot back and back into a child's pose for another 5 breaths, and continue on the other side. The last warm-up I usually do is to get them the practice of doing a modified vinyasa, moving with their breath. Start out in your tabletop pose. Bring my right hand forward, my left hand forward, and find a low plank by bringing my shoulders back over my wrists. This is low plank. We want our hips to not be in cow, but slightly more in the cat position. They should know where their hips are in space by now. Lowering down to the ground. So usually my first time through, I have people use no hands to realize that they should be using their muscles in their back. Make sure that the tops of the feet are down and they're trying to push all their 10 toes down into the mat. Exhale, release. And now they need to find that plank once more. Allow them to find the knees down first as they push. And exhale through child's pose. Just 2 breaths. Go with them the first couple times. Inhale, plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, plank. And exhale, child's pose. Give them the modifications first so that beginners feel that it's okay to do that step. Now we can throw them through a harder vinyasa. High plank, exhaling through to the ground, or maybe chaturanga. Inhaling through up dog, or maybe just a cobra. Exhaling through to the ground or chaturanga. Inhaling through plank. And finally, exhaling through down dog. Perhaps they want to walk their legs out. Always nice to pedal the feet to allow some hamstrings to release. Remind me they should be pushing into the ground to create that extension through the shoulder joint, as well as wrapping the shoulder blades around like they're giving somebody a big hug. Most people may not be able to drop their heels to the ground, and tell them that's okay, that they should bend their knees. Taking one more breath here and slowly into a forward fold. First forward fold, work on bending the knees. Allow the people to hang for a moment and remind them to relax their neck. Let people take the time to relax in your class. Remind them that yoga is not necessarily about the poses, but more about how you feel in your body as you're moving, bringing more awareness to where you have tension, where you're holding, where you're stuck. Inhale, halfway lift with a nice long spine. To climb their body so they can come up all the way to standing with a nice flat back. Inhaling through and exhaling through. Have a great rest of your day. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you loved some of the hamstring stuff that we did, please check out my hamstring video. Thank you so much. Namaste.